Hey guys, I need to give a shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. If you're unaware of what SeatGeek is, it is an app that lets you buy tickets to concerts, to sporting events, to any sort of major thing that you want to get a ticket to. And what it does is it shows you a map of the tickets listed across all different websites, and it shows you which deal is a good deal and which deal is a bad deal, so you know if you're getting ripped off. So if you download the app and you want to go and use it to buy tickets, make sure you use my code COOGS at checkout and you will save $20 off your first order. Thanks, SeatGeek. All right, it's about that time for me to completely botch a prediction video again and me to be wrong about every single one. What's up, guys? So, October is here. The postseason is finally set. I think I'm posting this video on Tuesday morning. So, if that's the case, the NL wildcard will be tonight. But yesterday, on Monday, we officially found out how the National League is going to be set up. We found out who was going to have home field. We found out who was going to win the Central and the West. And we found out who was going to be playing in the wildcard game. But either way, the bracket is finally set. We finally know all the matchups, and I'm going to give you guys my prediction on how each matchup is going to turn out. This is going to be fun. All right, so we're going to start off with the National League wildcard. This will be played in Wrigley Field, the Cubs versus the Rockies. I am leaning towards the Cubs for this one. I think the Rockies put together a really strong close to the season. They gave a decent fight in the game 163, but Walker Buehler pitched really well. They did score 2 runs later in the game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it is going to be a game. I think John Lester is pitching for the Cubs. I'm not sure who's pitching for the Rockies, but my gut is kind of telling me the Cubs are going to win this game because the Cubs in the postseason are usually pretty clutch, not including last year's NLCS. They didn't do too well. But I have a feeling the Cubs have more to show than just the wild card. No disrespect to the Rockies. They can hit really, really well. I'm just going to go ahead and lean towards the Cubs on this one. I just kind of like their chances a little bit more at home. So now moving over to the American League wildcard, you have the Yankees and the Athletics. Just for clarification, just so you guys know, I hate the Oakland A's. I'm a big Angels fan. If you don't know me, I hate the Oakland A's, but I'm going to try to be as non-biased as possible. I do think the Yankees will come out with the victory on this game, though. One, it's in New York, which isn't the biggest deal in the world because anybody can hit a home run in Yankee Stadium, especially to right field, so that's not the biggest thing. But I'm not sure what exactly Oakland's pitching is going to be. Are they going to start Mike Fiers? If that's the case, really excited to see how Stanton reacts to that. But I feel like the Yankees are just a more complete team, but at the end of the day, the Oakland A's have been proving me wrong all year and pretty much proving all of baseball wrong all year. I do expect Chris Davis to hit a home run, but at the end of the day, I think the Yankees will win this, and I think a little bit convincingly too. I'm going to say like 5-1, 6-1. I'm going to have the Yankees moving on to the DS. So with that being said, we have the division series set. We've got the Cleveland Indians and the Houston Astros in the ALDS, and then you've got the Yankees and the Red Sox, and then the National League side of things, you got the Braves and the Dodgers, and you've got the Brewers and the Cubs, according to my predictions. Since we started off with the National League wildcard, let's start off with the American League division series for this one. Houston and Cleveland. Now, I am going to go ahead and say Houston will win this series against Cleveland. Now, I don't want anybody to think I'm saying Cleveland is a bad team. Cleveland is great. The only thing is that Houston did... It's going to be the same argument I make for Houston later on in this video. I saw the Astros win 2 extremely tough and convincing Game 7s last year. It is so hard for me to pick against them, and then they went in the offseason and got Garrett Cole to make their pitching rotation even better. It's going to be really hard for me to say the Astros are going to lose against the Indians, especially since the Indians did play in pretty much the weakest division in the entire MLB this year. Once again, not a huge knock against Cleveland. They can't control that. But I think the Astros had a lot more competition the entire year, with the A's breathing down their neck, the Mariners earlier in the season before they fell off, and then trying to get home field against the Red Sox. I just think the Astros are a bit of a stronger team right now. I'm going to have Houston winning this either 3-0 or 3-1. Then in the other division series, you've got the Yankees versus the Red Sox. The Red Sox do have home field. The Red Sox easily were the best regular season team in all of baseball. Now in the season series, Boston did win 10-9, which which means they played 19 games and Boston only won by 1. So it was a very, very close season series between the two. Although you can't forget when it was like, what, early August, I believe it was, when the Red Sox had that 4-game sweep against the Yankees. I don't know. This one's a tough one for me to call because they both were 100-game winners. Like, how crazy is it that a 100-game winner is in the wild card? Like, that's nuts to me. So I think if the Red Sox and the Yankees play, I'm gonna lean towards the Red Sox because I think they're a little bit more sound with their pitching. And then obviously having guys like Mookie and JD and the big lineup that they have, not that the Yankees don't have a big lineup, don't get me wrong. This one's tough for me to pick. My gut is telling me the Boston Red Sox though, and I think the Red Sox will take it 3-2. I do think this one will go 5 games. It's honestly a 50-50 for me. Both teams are really good and they were so close in the season series. I'm gonna go with the Red Sox 3-2. So I have the Red Sox versus the Astros in the ALCS. Let's move over to the NL and get that championship series set up. So let's start off with the Dodgers and the Braves. The Braves are a young team. People keep forgetting about the Braves because they clinched so long ago. Their division was a little bit unorthodox this year. A lot of people thought the Mets were going to be better. A lot of people thought the Nationals were going to be better. Obviously the Phillies and the Braves were two teams that nobody really thought was going to be winning the division, but at least, they'd be competitive. But they won the division. I think they won 90 games. So the Braves are a good team. I am a little bit more sold on the LA Dodgers though. I think if you compare the lineups are fairly similar. You got, on the Dodgers, you got Bellinger, you got Machado, you've got Puig, you've got, Chris Taylor, a bunch of guys that can really hit. Grandal with the season he had, Max Muncy. And then on the Braves, you got all the young studs, like you got Albies, you've got probably the rookie of the year, in my opinion, Acuna. You've also got more veteran guys like Nick Markakis, who put together a very strong year. I personally am going to lean towards the Dodgers a little bit because I like the Dodgers lineup a little bit more than the Braves. I think there's going to be a lot of runs scored in this series, even with the decent pitching on both sides. I'm going to go with the Dodgers winning 3-2 in the DS. Then if you take a look at the second NLDS series, you've got the Chicago Cubs taking on the Milwaukee Brewers. The Milwaukee Brewers, of course, would be the home field team, and the Cubs would be out for revenge for the game 163 loss that they had at Wrigley Field. So with this one, this is, I think, a very evenly matched series. I think the Milwaukee Brewers have surprised a ton of people this season with their play. Obviously, Christian Yelich putting together an MVP caliber season. He should be the MVP. But the Cubs, man, the Cubs are always very consistent in the playoffs, at least through the DS. This one's kind of tough. This one for me is going to be very similar to the ALDS with the Yankees and the Red Sox. For me, I'm going to go ahead and actually lean towards the Brewers. That might be kind of surprising to some people. But for me, the Brewers, in my opinion, like they obviously fought with the Cubs all season long to get that postseason spot. Not only to get that postseason spot, to get the division win, they also fought with the Cardinals for most of the season as well. I think the Brewers, after the confidence they've gotten from winning that division and getting home field, I think that'll give them a lot of drive and a lot of energy in this series. And I think the Cubs are going to be not demoralized, but the Cubs are going to feel like they should be in a better position. And I think like Milwaukee's pitching hasn't been like stellar to me. Like, I don't know the stats, but just off the eye test, I'm not loving their pitching. But with guys like Yelich and how good Aguilar's been hitting, and then the addition of Moustakas and even Jonathan Scope, like I think the Brewers have a very, very strong lineup. I think the Brewers are going to the NLCS to face the Dodgers. All right, so now that both the CSs are set, we started with the American League last time. Let's start with the National League, the Dodgers and the Brewers. Once again, I think this is going to be a very evenly matched series. I do like the Dodgers pitching more than the Brewers pitching. The Brewers have a nasty bullpen though. Corey Knebel just had a great month of September. Josh Hader, of course, being lights out all year long, so tough to face against lefties. And the Dodgers have some big lefties in that lineup with Cody Bellinger and Max Muncy, guys like that. So I think the Dodgers are going to struggle once they get to the bullpen part of the game, but I think the Dodgers can get after the starters a little bit and put some runs on the board. Now, similar things could be said about the Brewers, but I don't think the Brewers are going to be as good against the Dodgers starting rotation as maybe their bullpen. So I think honestly this series is going to come down to whoever scores earlier in the games, and I think the Dodgers have a better chance just because of the Brewers starting rotation. So I'm going to go with the Dodgers winning this series 4-2, and I have the Dodgers Dodgers going back to the World Series to face the winner of the American League. So my prediction for the ALCS is going to be the Houston Astros versus the Boston Red Sox. Now, this series, 1 and 2 seeds. The Astros won, I think, 103 games. I don't even remember how many the Red Sox won. I think it was like 110, 111, something like that. So the Red Sox, obviously, like both these teams obviously killed it in the regular season. This is going to be a juggernaut matchup. And if you look at it, I think I like the Houston Astros pitching a little bit more than the Red Sox, but I think I like the Red Sox lineup a little bit more than the Astros. So once again, this is just another kind of 50-50 toss-up. Now let me tell you guys why I'm leaning towards the Houston Astros beating the Red Sox. They're different teams, I get that. But last year, the Astros played the Red Sox in the ALDS, and the Red Sox lost that series. The Astros won 3-1. Now, of course, the Astros made the addition of getting Garrett Cole to the starting rotation, but the Red Sox did make the addition of getting JD Martinez on their offense. JD Martinez was a viable Triple Crown candidate for a majority of the year. So they got better at pitching for the Astros. They got better at hitting for the Red Sox. For me, all this comes down to is what I have seen previously. I know, like I said, different teams, but at the end of the day, I think it's still a strong core that the Astros have. That team did win 2 very, very clutch Game 7s last year against 2 very strong teams, the Yankees and the Dodgers. I think the Astros are going to have confidence going in to face the Red Sox. I have the Astros winning this in 7 and moving on to the World Series. And we got a rematch, in my opinion, boys, the Dodgers and the Astros. Now, this World Series would be just a little bit different because you have the Astros. They have the better record this year than the Dodgers, so the Astros would be getting home field in Game 7 if it came down to it. But once again, I think both of these teams are really solid. I do like the Astros pitching a lot with Justin Verlander, Garrett Cole, Charlie Morton, like all these guys who have been so good all year long. But the Dodgers with Walker Buehler and Clayton Kershaw, it's tough to trust Kershaw a lot in the postseason. But once again, they don't have Yu Darvish this time around, so maybe that'll be a plus for the Dodgers. At the end of the day, though, guys, it's the same argument I've been making for the Houston Astros this entire video. I've just seen the Astros be so clutch in Game 7 situations against super strong teams, and then they got better with pitching. I think the Astros will win the World Series again this year against the Dodgers. I'm going to go ahead and say 4-2, maybe a Game 7, I don't know. I've been kind of with the Dodgers for most of the year, thinking that they would come back and get their redemption in the World Series, but it's hard for me to pick against the Astros right now, man. I think the Astros are going to perform in the postseason, and I think they go back-to-back and win against the Dodgers again. So those are my predictions, guys. I know there's going to be some of you that are going to be heated down in the comments. Let me know all your thoughts. Sound off. I don't care. I could take it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video regardless. In the comments, also, let me know who you guys think is going to win the World Series. Do you think it's going to be somebody from the NL? Do you think it's going to be a completely different matchup? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Anyway, drop a thumbs up on the video if you enjoyed, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.